Hello, everybody. Let's go ahead and practice our phonics today. All right, so I'm going to start off with a few sounds here. Let's see if you can say them. I'm going to put the cards down, and then you say them, and then I'll tell you what the sound is. Ready? Buh. Fuh. Puh. Ch. Truh. Mm. Bruh. Old. Isled. Oast. Old. Ing. Sul. Col. J. T. Dr. Pr. Gl. Bull. Okay, so we got our sounds down there. So I'm going to go ahead and put some of these sounds out, and we're going to blend them together and see what you come up with. All right, some of these are going to be words, and of course, some of them are just going to be syllables or nonsense words. What we're practicing here is, can you actually put two sounds together and sound it out, okay? All right, so here's our ending, and here's our beginning. And so let's sound it out. What sound? What sound? Now we say them together. Bruh, ing, bring. Yes, that's the word. L, ing, ling. So when I point to it at first, I'm not saying anything. You should be saying it. What sound? What sound? Together, blended. What do we get? M, ing, ming. You might see that in a word like gaming. How about this one? What sound? What sound? Together, we get tr, ing, tring. What sound? What sound? Together, ch, ing, ching. That would be like a sound that you would have like a, like cha-ching. All right, now what do we get now? Ch. Ch. Old, chold. Sound. What sound? Pl, old, plold. What sound? What sound? Together, fl, old, flowed. Is that a word, flowed? No. How about this one? What sound? What sound? Together, fl, ing, fling. What sound? What sound? Together. Ing, bing. Another one of those sounds you might hold. I mean, you might hear when you are playing a game, you know, ching, bing. All right, let's see. What's this one say? Old. What do we get? Bold. You know, if you're brave, you could say that you're bold. Okay. What sound? What sound? What do we get? Oast. Boast. That sounds like a word. Boast. Like I'm going to boast when I win the game. I'm going to boast or brag. But as a good reader, I know this is not how it's spelled. It sounds it out. Remember, when we're sounding out words, we're trying to be able to read by sounding out. It's not about spelling. It'll help you with your spelling, but this is really about reading, sounding out words. Let's see. What do we got over here? Okay, let's see. What's this say? And this one? So what do we get? Oast. Sloast? Sloast? Is that a word? Sloast? No, it's not a word. How about this one? What's it say now? What sound? What sound? Together. Old. Slold. Do as you're slold. No, that's not a word. No, that's not a word. How about this one? What sound? What sound? Together. Ing. Sling. Yes, a sling. You put your arm in a sling, or we might sling something across the room. Sure. What sound? What sound? Together. What do we get? Ing. Cling. Cling. Is that a word? Yes, yes, it is. You can cling on to something. It's like, it means to hold something, to cling on. Get it? To cling on? To boldly go where no man has gone before. Yes, yeah, Star Trek humor there. Cling on. Get it? Dun, dun, dun. All right, so what's this say? What's this say? Together. Old. Clothed. Clothe your clothes so they're not over the floor. No, that would be fold. That's not going to work. That's not a word. How about this one? Is this a word? What sound? What sound? Together. Closed. That was a close call. Is that right? Closed. Is that a word? No, it's close, but it's not closed. Closed is not a word. No, it's not a word. Sure isn't. How about this one? Is this a word? What sound? What sound? Together we get Cliled. Cliled. Oh, you're my son. You're my Cliled. Is that a word? No, that should be child. That Cliled? I don't know what a Cliled is. I don't think I can Cliled. All right, here we go. What's this say? What sound? What sound? Together. Jiled. Jiled. Is that a word? Jiled? No, that's not a word. No, that's not a word. How about this one? What's this say? What's this say? Together we get bliled. Bliled. Is that a word, bliled? Bliled? that a word? No, it's not a word. How about this one? What's this say? And this side? And together we get? So what do we have? Gliled, gliled, gliled. Is that a word, gliled? No, it's not a word. How about this? What's this say? And this side? And together we get? Priled, priled. Is that a word? No, no. How about this one? What's it say now? And this side? And together we get? Let's see what we have. Prost. Prost. Is that a word, prost? No, it's not a word, but it is a name. If you watch the TV show Survivor, the host's name is Jeff Prost. Yeah, that's a word. That's a name. Sometimes people's names, you're going to have to sound them out. And this might be your best bet doing something like this, you know, finding the vowels and then trying to sound it out. All right, so what does this say now? Let's see. First syllable or first group of letters here says what? And this side says, and together we get drolt. Drolt. Is that a word, drolt? I drolt you a picture in class. What do you think? Is drolt a word? No, it's not a word. We got a lot of words, combinations here that aren't words today. Oh, here's one. I think this might be a word. Let's sound it out and see what you get. What do we get? Olt, tolt, tolt. I told you what to do. Is that a word? Tolt. The teacher told you to take out a piece of paper. No, that's not a word. How about this? What's it say now? Together. This is that word you were thinking of right then. Old, told. The teacher told you what to do, not told you. How about, what if I change this? And I change this. What do I get now? Is this a word? What sound? What sound? Together. Jolt. Jolt. Yes, when something startles you, it might jolt you into movement. Jolt. Yes, that's a word. All right. So let's go ahead and do some dictation here. This is supposed to be a red word, but looking at this word, I don't think it's really a red word. I want you to look at this word I'm going to write here. We're going to look for our vowels because every syllable has exactly how many vowel sounds. How many? I'm going to ask you one time. How many? Isn't that wonderful? How many vowel sounds in each syllable? One. Oh, I didn't know you knew that. There's one. So if we look at this word, how many vowels do you see here? I see 2. Now, these 2 here, well, I guess maybe that's why they say it's a red word, because when you see these 2 here together, they're going to make one sound. And this one kind of becomes a silent letter. We don't hear it. So this is what you really have. So it's a 2-syllable word, even though you don't really hear this very much. This doesn't make, you don't hear the E. So I'm going to divide this word like so. Is this side open or closed? Is this syllable open or closed? Open, because there's nothing here but an E. So this is going to say E. Now V-E-N, because these 2 are together, all this is going to say is this right here. So that's why it's a red word. We got V-N, ven. But did you hear that? You can barely hear that E. V-N, ven, ven, en, v-en, ven. So you can barely hear the E. That's why I say I disagree with them that it's a red word, because if you really carefully listen, you can hear the e, en, ven, and ven. So the word is even, even, even. You know, like it's not odd, it's even. All right, let's change this letter here. What if I change that letter to this? Huh. Well, you think you would say oven, oven. No, this is one of those rule breaker words. This is oven. Sometimes that O will make a different sound. So even is our red word today, even. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and dictate some words to you, and you're going to go ahead and write them down. So I'll give you a second here. Pause the video if you need to get a piece of paper, or you probably don't have your marker boards at home. So just get a piece of paper. Go ahead and pause the video for a second so you can get that. All righty, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to dictate some sentences and you write them down. Remember to capitalize, put punctuation here. So I'm going to say the sentence and I'm going to say it twice. Then I'm going to pound it out and then I'm going to write it down. You ready? Okay, here we go. Ready? Did the pegs look even? Did the pegs look even? Here we go, pounding it out. Did the pegs look even? Did the pegs look even? Go and write it down. If you get to a word that you can't spell, you're going to tap out each sound. E, g, s. What should you have? Let's see. This is what it should look like. Did the pegs look even? What goes on the end? Am I telling you something here, like the sky is blue? That would be a declarative sentence where I'm just declaring something. Is this a exclamatory sentence, like with an exclamation point? Did the pegs look even? No. This is an interrogative question. An interrogative questions always end with a question mark. Did the pegs look even? You can kind of hear that questioning at the end. Did the pegs look even? And this word here is a good questioning word. We can always kind of tell that we're asking a question when we start with did. Did the pegs look even? All right, let's try another one. Last one here. You ready? Even her lunch was cold. Even her lunch was cold. All right, so let's go ahead and try and pound that out. Even her lunch was cold. Even her lunch was cold. Go ahead and write it out. Again, I'll show you in just a second. Remember, it should look like a real sentence because it is. All right, so here's what it should look like. Even, capital E, her lunch, L-U-N, ch. 4 sounds there. Ch. Lunch was cold. Here's that old, see? O-L-D. Remember, even though this is a closed syllable word, that O-L-D is going to be long. And so we're going to hear the O, not the ah. So let's look at our two sentences here. Look at sentence number 1. Did the pegs look even? What's my verb? What's my predicate? Remember, a verb is a predicate. Well, we're talking about the pegs here. The pegs are my subject. And remember, my subject is going to be a noun or a pronoun. So this is my subject. And then what about them? Well, here's my verb right here. This is my predicate. This is something I can do. A predicate is a verb. And so here's my verb. This is an action verb. You can look at something. Okay, so let's look at our second sentence. Let's see. What is my verb here? My verb is was. Is this an action verb? Can you was down the street? No, you can't was. This is one of those linking verbs that we talked about. I am cold. He is cold. The dog was cold. This is a linking verb. Hey, look at that. My verbs lined up, didn't they? So this is one of our linking verbs. All right, one more thing we're going to do before we call it quits here on phonics today is we're going to practice syllabicating. Syllabication. So let's look at this. We take a word like, oh, I don't know. How about this one? And the first thing we want to do is find our vowels. Okay, I see 1, 2 vowels. Okay. So what do I do now? I put that V underneath them for vowel, remember? What are my vowels? There's 5 of them, and sometimes one more. What are they? A, E, I, O, U, and sometimes Y. I don't know why, just because. All right, so I've got my vowels here. Now I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to draw the sled, Santa's sled there. And in between, I'm going to put my consonants because N and T are both consonants. This is a vowel, consonant, consonant, vowel word. And when we have a vowel, consonant, consonant, vowel word, we divide the word between the consonants. That's right, between the consonants. If you didn't know that, you need to kind of pay attention because we've talked about that a lot this year. So I'm going to divide it right down between the C's there. And I thought I grabbed my green marker, but apparently I grabbed the brown one. Can't hardly see that. Okay, so this is how you divide up this word. And now I look at my first two syllables here, my first two letters here. I'm going to look at all three. Open or closed? This is closed. Why is it closed? Because the A can't get away. The N's in the way. San. What's this say? Ah, right? Santa. Santa. No, that doesn't sound right. Santa. So this would be San. And this time this is making a sound. So this would be Santa. All right, so let's pick some syllabication words that are going to actually sound out exactly like what we want. And so here's a word. I'm going to write it down. You copy it. And you decide how to break this up and pretend like you don't know how to pronounce this word. Okay? And if you don't know how to pronounce it, well, this is a good practice word. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to mark our vowels because every syllable has one vowel sound. There are my two vowels. I'm going to draw my sled and I'm going to fill in everything in between here. What's a B? Vowel or consonant? Consonant. So if this is a consonant, the other one is a consonant. And where are we going to divide these? Between the B's. Look at the first syllable here. R-A-B. What's that say? Is it rabe or rab? Well, to know that, we have to look. Is this open or closed? Can the A get away? No. So this is a closed syllable. So this is going to say ah, and this is going to be rab. Now look at this one over here. Open or closed? Closed. Why? Because the I can't get away. The T's in the way. So this is going to say I. And so we get b, it, bit. So together we get rab, bit. Together, rabbit. All right, let's try another one. Here's a good Christmassy word. You ready? All right, you go ahead and divide it up. Stop the video and go ahead and divide it up. Syllabicate that word. Well, when we syllabicate this, we start by looking for our vowels. And I see we got a vowel here and we got a vowel here. So now I draw my sled and I'm going to fill in what's in between there. And what do I have in between there? I've got my consonant, see? Where am I going to divide my consonants? Right down the middle, right between the two consonants. So, look at the first syllable over here on this side. Open or closed? Closed. Because it can't get away, the T's in the way. Look at this syllable over here. Open or closed? Closed, because the E can't get away. We got an N blocking it. So these are both short vowel sounds. So this is going to say m, it, mit. And this one says what? T, n, ten. Together we get mit, ten. Mitten. Mitten. You know, like you wear in your hands. A mitten. All right, let's try another one. Here we go. We're syllabicating. Yeah. You may not know this word, or you might. I don't know. Depends. Go ahead and pause the video. Go ahead and syllabicate that. Okay, what's the first step? Find those vowel sounds. We got one here. We got one here. Step 2, I'm going to draw my sled. Now I got to fill in the middle here, the T and the N. These are both consonants. So I'm going to divide it where? Between the T and the N. Let's look at this letter over here, this vowel. Open or closed? Closed. Why? Because the A can't get away. What about over here? Open or closed? Closed. Why? Because the I can't get away. The P's blocking them. So these are both going to be short vowel sounds. This is going to say a, and this one's going to say I. And so let's see what we got. K, at, cat. And this one over here says n, I, nip. And together we get cat, nip. Catnip. Yeah, if you have cats, you may have some catnip around the house. All right, so let's try maybe some words you might not know here. See if you can figure out how to sound it out. You ready? I don't know if you're going to know this one. This is more of a more difficult word. All right, here we go. You ready? Syllabicate this word. Go ahead and pause the video and do it. All right. Hey, if you're not pausing the video and actually doing it on your own, and you're just watching, you're really not helping yourself much. I mean, it's great that you're watching, but you need to be doing this. All right, so I'm going to find my first vowel, and then I'm going to find my second vowel. They're both going to make a sound. I make my sled. And so I'm going to say, well, let me see, this is a consonant, and this is a consonant. So I'm going to divide it between the two. Open or closed? Closed. Open or closed? Closed. See, my A can't get away because if he tries to get away, he runs into the S. And the E can't get away because he runs into the L. So this is going to say p-a-s, pass. What's this going to say? Tell. Tell. Pass. Tell. Pastel. The word is pastel. Pastel. Like a pastel color. Let's try another one. A pastel color, that's a color that's kind of a light color. It's not very bright. A pastel is going to be maybe something like this yellow. See, this yellow isn't really as bright as this yellow. So we might say this yellow is more of a pastel. Okay. All righty, here's our next one. Again, this is going to be a word you may not know. If you do know it, you've got quite a vocabulary. Okay. Stop the video and let's syllabicate that. All right, so I have a vowel here and a vowel here. They're both going to make a sound. And then I'm going to draw my sled. I have two consonants, B and N, so I'm going to go ahead and make consonants. I'm going to divide right between the double consonants. Open or closed? Open or closed? Let's see if you're right. This would be hob, because it's closed. It's going to be a short vowel sound. Hob. And this one over here? N-a-b. This is closed. Short vowel sound. Hob, knob. Hobnob. Is that a word? It sure is. It's probably one you haven't heard much before. To hobnob means to talk to everyone. You're a very talkative person. So if I'm talking to everyone, I could say that I'm hobnobbing with everyone at the party. Yeah, it's kind of it means to get around and talk to everybody and greet everyone and be very social. You're hobnobbing. It's a really old word, but it is a word. All right, here's one more. Let's see if you can. This one is a word. Your parents, especially your father, might know this word if he works on a car or with machines. All right, here we go. Let's see what we got. See if you can figure out how to pronounce that one. Yes, that's a real word. All righty. I hope you're pausing that video because let's see. I've got a vowel sound here, and a vowel sound here. Draw my sled. Two consonants in between. That means I'm going to divide right between the S and the C. What's this going to say? What's this going to say? Well, this is closed, and this is closed because the U can't get away, the S is blocking, and the I can't get away, the S is blocking. So, I mean, when we write those syllables by themselves, this is what we get, V-I-S, and you can see the I can't get away because the S is blocking. And then the other one, C-U-S, you can't get away because the S is blocking. So we get viscous, viscous, viscous. Yes, that's a real word, viscous. All right, everybody, we're going to stop with our phonics today. I hope you have a great day, and I'll talk to you later.